Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden and honestly sometimes kind of dark psychological patterns that secretly dictate romantic success or failure. We're going to peel back the layers of human behavior to see what's really happening just beneath the surface of our everyday interactions. Let's get right into it. So, why do some guys always seem to get rejected? Have you ever noticed that? How some people just effortlessly attract attention, while others seem stuck on this endless loop of constant, repeating rejection. Now, I want to clarify something right out of the gate here. This is not about your looks, and it's definitely not about your bank account. It goes so much deeper than that. The real culprit here? Invisible psychological signals. You see, every single text message you send, every compliment you give, every tiny shift in conversation, it all secretly shapes exactly how you're perceived. You are literally broadcasting signals 24/7 without even realizing it. You know, like when you reply with 3 frantic paragraphs and they just sent back a single emoji? Yikes, right? Chapter 1, The Chasing Trap. Let's look at external behaviors. Here we have a classic contrast: constant approval seeking versus emotional security. Picture the guy who texts every single hour, replying in 2 milliseconds flat, making himself just way too available. The human brain actually hardwires that extreme availability as a sign of lower social value. Compare that to the guy who maintains his own independent life. People naturally value what feels earned, not what feels forced upon them. Now, the absolute silent killer of attraction is validation seeking. This means you are unknowingly asking for approval during interactions, which just screams self-doubt and drastically tanks your perceived confidence. It's like this unspoken, "Do you like me?" or "Was it okay that I said that?" just hanging awkwardly in the air. Truly confident people, they simply don't need to constantly convince others of their worth. Confidence grows from independence, not from constant approval seeking. The very second your happiness depends entirely on someone else's attention, you are quietly handing all your power over to them. Building your own independent purpose is absolutely the strongest foundation you can ever have. Moving right along to Chapter 2, The Unspoken Signals, Interpersonal Dynamics. Okay, this brings us to the mystery effect, which is a total game changer. The human brain literally hates uncertainty and is always hunting for missing information. So listen, when you spill absolutely everything about your childhood, all your personal drama, and your entire dental history in the very first conversation, you completely kill that natural curiosity. Psychologically speaking, you leave them with absolutely nothing left to explore. Sometimes silence creates more curiosity than endless talking. Now, you don't need to hide who you are, but you also don't need to dump your entire life story on a Tuesday afternoon. Letting a connection naturally grow through gradual discovery is just so much more exciting for the other person than oversharing all at once. Because believe it or not, attraction starts way before you even open your mouth. Posture, eye contact, facial expressions, walking style, calm energy. People are subconsciously processing your body language way before they hear your clever pickup lines. Standing straight and moving with calm energy will influence a first impression way more heavily than any words you'll ever say. Your body tells a story, so make sure it's a good one. Let's jump into Chapter 3, The Internal Foundation, Your Inner World. Emotional explosion versus emotional control. Look, let's be real. Life is going to bring rejection, stress, and disappointment. That is just a given for all of us. But reacting to a romantic rejection with a sudden outburst of anger or just overwhelming neediness, that makes interactions incredibly uncomfortable. Emotional maturity is all about having the ability to just pause before reacting. Stable individuals do not let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. Having no purpose makes you less interesting. It's a bit blunt, I know, but it is absolutely essential to understand. People are naturally drawn to those who are building skills, improving their health, and chasing goals that go way beyond just finding a relationship. If your entire universe revolves around getting one person's attention, well, you kind of lose your own identity in the process. The less meaningful your own life becomes, the harder you try to make someone else your purpose. This is a highly dangerous cycle to get stuck in. So I challenge you to build your own future first. Become someone you are genuinely proud to be, even when nobody else is in the room watching. Which brings us to our final section, Chapter 4, The Ultimate Truth, Acceptance. You cannot force attraction. No psychological trick, no perfectly crafted text message, no expensive gift, and absolutely no flawless appearance can manufacture genuine attraction if the spark simply isn't there. It is the absolute biggest truth of human behavior. And honestly, fully accepting this is incredibly freeing. People actually choose relationships based on a wildly complex mix of timing, compatibility, values, their own messy personal experiences, and chemistry. Now, notice what is missing from that list. Your objective worth as a human being. We really have to break this illusion. Rejection often has absolutely nothing to do with your inherent value. People are just incredibly complex, and their choices are driven by countless external factors that you can't control. Every rejection filters out someone who wasn't the right match. Reframing rejection this way is literally a psychological superpower. Acceptance isn't defeat, and it's for sure not an excuse for revenge or obsession. It's just this mature, grounded realization that confident people simply do not fear rejection. They understand it's a natural filtering process, and they just keep growing anyway. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. Which of these 7 mistakes are you currently making? From validation seeking to oversharing to maybe lacking a strong personal purpose? Take a brutally honest moment today to reflect on that. True attraction doesn't begin with some clever mind trick. It begins with a relationship you have with yourself. So are you ready to do the internal work and change the signals you're broadcasting to the world?